Welcome to your Farm and Home Show. My name is Joanna Coles, and this morning we're visiting with April Lamb. She's with the University of Kentucky as a postdoc student there with plant pathology. Today we're going to talk a little bit about scouting in your garden.
Yeah, so scouting is really important from a plant pathology aspect of things. And really, what we highlight with scouting is that it is something that you intentionally do, and you specifically go out to your garden to look for problems or diseases. So this is not something that you're doing while you're also weeding or, managing your garden in other ways. You're really walking out just to see how your garden is doing, if you're going to start seeing, disease, insect, wildlife issues, anything else like that, and really taking a critical eye to your garden to recognize any issues.
And so, April, is there a frequency that we should be scouting our vegetable garden?
It kind of depends on your garden, right? So if you have time, once a week would be great. If you've had disease issues in the past, last year, maybe all of your tomatoes died from bacterial spot or something else like that, you probably want to pay attention to those specific crops. Normally, what we recommend is doing the shoot to root method of looking at your plants. So basically starting at the top of your plant and working your way down, really not being afraid to get into the plant and, turn over fruit, turn over leaves, move those branches and different things around, just to make sure you're looking at every aspect of the plant. Now, there are certain diseases, right, that if you go out to your garden and you notice that some of your crops are wilting, that might indicate a root issue. So you want to make sure that you do pay attention to that soil line, looking at the crown of the plant, which is that part of the plant right before the soil line, then maybe digging down a little bit, seeing if you can see those roots, if they're looking healthy or not. But for the most part, we recommend that instead of going specifically to an area of a problem, right? You see, oh, leaf spots and only looking at that part. Instead, look at the whole plant, go from top to bottom.
Now, let's say we go out, we start seeing spots. When should we start being concerned, or when should we contact somebody?
That'll again depend on if you've had disease issues in the past and you kind of know what it is and you're thinking, oh, I need to catch this early. I need to get some recommendations on how to control the disease. If you start seeing things, spots or something else, and you're like, I don't know, maybe that's something, maybe it's not, you are completely and always welcome, right, to contact your extension agent, reach out, take pictures, take a lot of pictures, in focus pictures of the whole plant, the specific issue that you see, and even the area around the plant, right? Just to give everyone a good idea of maybe what concern we're looking at, because sometimes the issues, right, aren't pathogen related. It might be watering or where the plant is or animals or insects or different things. So giving all of those, context pictures to send out would be good. So if you walk out one day and very, very quickly you've seen a plant in decline, probably need to deal with that. Sooner rather than later. But if you walk out and you're just seeing maybe some yellow leaves on the bottom of the plant or something else, again, you can completely contact your extension agent for that. But it might just be where we had some really weird weather, we had a lot of rain or something else, and maybe you need to wait a day or two to see if it rectifies itself or if it's going to be, a bigger issue.
But I think one of the things that you talked about was so important is documentation. Like if you start
Mhm.
seeing something, go ahead and take photos so you can kind of see the progression. Because I know if it's something that we can't determine through photos, but we need to send it to the lab, having those photos of documentation is super helpful.
100%. Well, and taking notes of everything, right? If you did some sort of, just a 7 spray or some sort of other, just kind of chemical spray on anything. If you trellised your tomatoes recently, if you just put in raised beds, if you recently planted a tree, all of that information is going to be extremely helpful in determining what a problem might be caused by. Also, just taking note of the weather and kind of the history of the site. What did you have planted there beforehand? We will never, ever be unhappy with the amount of information you can send. So if the most information is always phenomenal. Just all that context, all those pictures, just everything. Because it's a lot harder, right? If you're sending a sample, so you've talked to your extension agent, they're now sending a sample to our diagnostic lab. If the plant has already died, it's pretty crispy when we get it. It's really difficult to try to diagnose that without all of that other information.
Thanks for watching and have a great day.